Hello everyone, you are welcome to another episode of No Gray Areas with Sazzy. All right, I hope you are staying safe and you are keeping happy as well. Please stay safe. We care so much about you. If you are new here, you are welcome to this channel. We are glad to have you here. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you will be the first to be notified when we upload a new video. And to my old and returning subscribers, I just want to say a super thank you. All right, thank you for coming by, and I will encourage you to stay by here while we go on this journey together. All right, just to put it out there as well, I'm struggling with my nose, having flu, coughing, lots of things going on at the same time. So cold, everything. So please pardon me, just in case I sound funny or I talk funny, please pardon me, okay? All right, thank you. Now I'm here to do a continuation. If you have not seen the first part of this series, I will encourage you. Maybe I'm going to put it somewhere here. Just drop the link so you can go see it. Like I said, I was in Cardiff and then I got this job to work as a domiciliary carer, but it came with sponsorship. So this organization was willing to sponsor my stay here in the UK. I came in here as a student and then they were willing to sponsor my stay. So I felt like, yes, it is a good opportunity, for me to stay back and build something here in the UK. Well, so I thought, it's not like everything ended really terribly, but honestly, it was not something that I thought I was going to go through. So yes, I accepted the offer. I was excited about it, told my husband about it, and then he also supported my dream. He said, you know what, it's okay as long as you are comfortable. And like I said, he has never been in support of me doing the care job. Never. He had always reiterated it to me that you need to go back to education because that is where I see you grow. That is where I think you belong. So I think you should go back to education. But no, I get coconut head, big ear. I need a hear word. What that means is I have a coconut head, I have a big ear or a pair of big ears, and I don't listen. I don't take advice. All right. So I just convinced him anyway, like, let's go. And then we moved over here in England. Now, when I started this job, my first red light was the fact that I was made to shadow without pay. I will explain what shadowing is. Shadowing is basically going to the house of these service users and understanding how the job is done. You go in with an experienced employee of the job, a co-worker like you that has been with the organization for a while. So they take you in for you to meet up with the service user or with the client, and you understand how the job is done, understand their care plan, because every service user, it's not like they have their peculiarities, okay? It's not one size fits all. So you need to understand medication, you need to understand their do's, their don'ts, you need to understand the things that make them excited, the things that make them sad. You just basically understand how to care for them. So that's shadowing. Now, when I started this shadowing, I was made to shadow without pay. And that hit me really hard because that was the first time I was hearing that and the first time I was experiencing it. Because like I told you, back in Cardiff, I did domiciliary care for some time and I was paid for shadowing. When I asked if I was going to be paid, they were like, oh yes, why would we take you out of your house, the comfort of your home, going out there to learn this without paying you? You need to be paid for it because you are working, you are actually doing the job. So yes, that was the first red light I got when I came here doing this job as a domiciliary carer here. And I was uncomfortable. And imagine I did shadowing for 7 days. I was made to shadow for 7 days. And it was at that point I began to ask God. I was like, God, I hope I have not made a terrible decision. I hope I have not made a mistake. So that was where my fear crept in. Now, the next thing I experienced was the fact that the management was disrespectful and condescending in communicating their discomfort or in communicating any issue that arises. Maybe you made a mistake, or maybe someone, maybe a co-worker decided to tell on you for something that probably was nothing, or maybe a service user reached out to them to explain something that wasn't really that wasn't a death threat in any way, okay? That did not put anyone in harm's way. Or maybe you made a candid mistake, an honest mistake, because you are learning the job, you are growing on the job. So yes, there could be some mistakes here and there, or maybe you did it the way they don't like it and they just get to tell on you. So the way these people communicate with you, they raise their voices, they speak to you in a disrespectful manner. I'm telling you, it was so terrible. They raise their voices, their lungs are all, it's like they're shouting at the top of their lungs. Every time they're going, whoop, whoop, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why would you do? It was too much to handle. And while that was going on, it felt you feel small. You feel little. They made you feel little. They made you feel small, like you were even less than a baby. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it felt like a military cantonment where it is order and execution. As I say it, when I say jump, all you have to do is how high do I jump? So that was the vibe I was getting from these people. And no, every time this happened, I was going, oh, Sazzy, be patient. Not today, devil. Satan, not today. Yes, I had those moments within me where I was saying, not today, Satan, not today. Because I was literally almost losing my cool. I was losing my cool by the day. Another ugly experience I had was racial slurs from service users. Yes, you see, some of these service users were racist. They were racist towards me. I also know about other colleagues, other co-workers that experienced it as well. So it's not like I'm the only one saying this. So the usage of racial slurs, where they call you, make you feel like you are less than them. They call you a slave. I know one of them actually called me a black monkey. One of them actually said that he feeds better than my entire generation can feed. Really? The racism was just too much. I had an experience where you go into the houses of service users, they begin to tell you don't sit there. That chair is not for you. That is not for you. That's not where carers should sit. Go stand over there. Go sit over there. Oh no, don't come close to this side. Oh no, don't touch that. Don't touch. It was absurd. It was absurd. They made you feel like you can't do stuff for them. You can't do this for me. You can't sit here. You can't come close to my room. They made you feel like maybe you're coming into their houses. Maybe you want to steal from them, or there is crazy, weird things. And of course, like I said, the racial slurs, using words that you don't use in unprintable names that you don't use on anyone. They did that. I experienced that. So that was one of the ugly experiences I had to encounter. And hey, I'm going to put it out there. I'm not even going to water it down, because I had a very good time with some of the service users. Some service users were beautiful at heart. Honestly, till today, there are some service users I truly miss. I truly miss them. They were beautiful at heart. If they smile at you, you know that the smile was coming from their heart. Not the paper smile that you get from some of them, not the plastic smile that after smiling with you, they go right behind you to say all sorts of crap about you. Yes, some of them were mean and vile that way, but no, I met some very good service users. I just had to put it out there as well. Another thing I experienced was the fact that this management had little or zero empathy for your personal issues. Little or zero empathy for your personal issues. They didn't care. Sometimes it felt like whenever you speak to them about certain situations you're going through, it felt like you're not talking. It felt like you are yapping. That was how it felt. They didn't care. They didn't show concern. They didn't show empathy for their fellow human being. I remember one of the experiences I had. My husband was not in the country, and I had nowhere to drop my kids. Nowhere. And of course, while doing this job, I had to get a minder. So whenever my husband is not available, either he's off to work or he's busy or he's not available at the moment, I had to send them to the minder. I had times like that, okay? But that particular day, nowhere to keep my kids, nowhere. And I reached out to the organization. I reached out to the management. I was like, please, I need you to let me start by 9 a.m. so I can drop my kids off in school and then I begin the day. It felt like, no. The feeling I had, they literally told me whatever. In fact, I was arguing with the management. I was like, where do I drop my kids? Do I take them to work? And the response that this lady gave to me was, do whatever you care to do. If you want to take them to work, that's your business. But I just want you to know that we are not responsible for that. Just know that you cannot take your kids into the houses of service users. You can drop them, you can leave them in your car, but we are not going to take responsibility or take any form of, if anything goes wrong, we're not going to take responsibility. Do whatever you want to do with your kids. Really? My kids? So that broke me. That broke me. That was one of the things that made me know that, you know what, I'm not going to sit here and take this ever again. So yes, that was another ugly experience. As a matter of fact, I had to wake up the following day, ran to the minder, and I was begging the minder because she told me she was not going to be available. I went to her house as early as 5:30 a.m. begging her to have my kids. Begging her, I was almost kneeling for that lady to have my kids. That please, I won't do this anymore. Help me, my kids need help. So that was another terrible experience I had. I never want to ever go through that again. Another ugly situation I experienced was the fact that I had this job gave me little or no time to spend with my family. I'm a family girl. I'm a family person. I love to be with my kids. I love to spend time with my husband. I love to call my family members back home in Nigeria and of course within the UK and anywhere else in the world. I want to have time to go out. I also want to have time to do my other commitments. I'm a minister in church, so I also want to be committed in my ministry. But you see, this job took me farther and farther and farther away from family, from business, from my personal life, from caring for myself, from my ministry. Everything suffered. My kids suffered, my husband suffered, the entire family unit suffered. I came back home a lot of times broken. I had times where before I leave the house, I am welling up in tears. I'm crying. Coming back from the job, I'm crying. I'm driving and crying in the car. It was terrible. I broke down. I was mentally drained. My mental health got depleted every day. Every day. I wasn't a happy person. I was a wreck. I was a shadow of myself. I wasn't happy at all. And the next thing as well that I experienced was the fact that it came with loads of bodily pain, physical pain. Please, if you have ever experienced, or if you're a carer here in the UK or anywhere in the world, drop it in the comment section. I don't know if I'm the only one maybe seated here rambling and complaining, maybe amongst the millions of people doing this job. I don't know if I'm the only one, but please, if you are in the care sector, let me know. Put it in the comment section. Do you even ever experience body pain? I felt like my entire nervous system was breaking down. Yes. There were days I felt like I was living in another person's body. My body did not feel like it was mine. I felt like I was living in a borrowed body, literally. I couldn't carry myself. I started having backache. I started having lower backache, upper backache. Everything aches. Everything was aching. My hands, my legs, my waist, everything was aching. The ache was on another level. It got a point where I had to report to the GP. I called them and said, this is what I'm struggling with. And they had to call me in and booked me for an x-ray. I went for this x-ray just for them to check if there is anything going on with my body. Really, it went that length. It was that bad. Thank God the x-ray came back negative. There was nothing wrong with me. But well, I think it was the impact of the job that I was doing. Yes, I know I was trained in manual handling, but no, it doesn't always really help. Yes, you try as much as possible to practicalize those things, but it doesn't take the pain away. it doesn't take the pain away. Another thing I experienced that was ugly was the constant threat of COS withdrawal. Yes, constant threat of COS withdrawal. If you know you are not interested in doing this job, we're taking the COS from you. Go look for the job elsewhere. If you don't want to do this job, send in your resignation. We don't care. It was back-to-back threats. Each time I get to communicate with these people or maybe go to work, it felt like I was walking on eggshells. Every step I made, I was being extra careful. Every move I made, I was being extra careful. It was horrible. And I started asking myself, how can a human being live like this? How do you live like this? That every day you wake up, you are not excited going to work. Another thing that I experienced was the fact that these people always listen and believe to the side of the service users. Some service users lie a lot. Things that never happen. Anyways, some of them actually are suffering from dementia, unfortunately. So if somebody like that tells you a thing, you are supposed to hear. There's something called fair hearing. You need to hear from your carer, your worker, know why it happened. But a lot of times they get to believe the carer, they get to believe the service user over the carer. And I've had experiences like that, and the next thing they ask me, okay, when it was happening, did you record it? Where's your proof? And I'm like, huh? Really? Honestly, it was bad. I'm going to tell you the straw that broke the camel's back, but let me say this one again, another experience that was ugly for me. Honestly, I regretted accepting a job with a fellow immigrant like me. Yes, my fellow immigrants are very beautiful and kind people, but there are some that are horrible, terrible, despicable. So one of my regrets, and of course one of the ugly experiences I had, was the fact that I worked with a fellow immigrant that of course have been here for years, maybe 20 years or more than that, and they are citizens today. Some of them, they lack kindness. They do not have the capacity to be kind to you. They do not have what it takes. They feel like when we came here years ago, we went through hell. So you also have to go through the same hell that we went through. Really? I love my fellow immigrants. All of my friends are my fellow immigrants. But there are some that are a no-go area. No. And then finally, the straw that broke the camel's back, the one that when it happened, I said, you know what? This is it, Sarah. You are not ever going to take crap. You are never ever going to sit down and take this from these people ever again. These people made me use a car that they claimed was a company's vehicle, because my car packed up on the day I was supposed to work. And then they said, no, you still have to go to work. We have a car, the company's car, come pick it up. And then I used the car thinking it was a company's vehicle, but in reality, it was the vehicle belonging to an individual. And I had a run-in with the law. I got into a big trouble with the police. So yes, I was caught by the UK police. Yes, just in case you want to know, I'm no more working with that organization. I worked with them for about 4 months, for about 4 to 5 months. Yes, I was with the organization, but I got a better COS, completely away from care, completely away from healthcare. So now, if you want to know, I work now as a minister of religion here in the UK. This is my story, and I'm super grateful to God that He came through.